Okay, so today we're working on partial weaved foil highlights. The first thing we need to do is we need to section the hair to get it in the right panels for doing these foils. So we're going to put a center panel in using the middle of the eyebrow as our guide. Going back to just beyond the crown because we want the color to come to the back as well. We're using small clips to create a less bulky profile so that we can work around them easier. Crisscross the clips to keep them in place better. And then you go into the back of the ear. We make the side panels. And with the partial highlight, the back remains untouched. It's great for hair that's really long because it gives you a full highlighted effect when you're finished without damaging all the hair. Okay. So now we're going to begin foiling. The first weave goes right against the surface so that you can get as close to the hairline as you can. There are 3 different kinds of weaves. There's a small weave, like this, very close together, and very tiny pieces. Gives you a closely woven look. The other kind is more of a chunky weave. Large spaces in between and larger pieces. The one we're going to focus on today is a medium-sized weave. Noticeable, but still subtle. Fold the foil over the end of the comb. Bring the hair forward, tuck the foil under, and then bring the hair back over the foil. Once you have a good grip on it, you can slide the comb out. You're going to paint as close to the edge of the foil as you can without going over. Press down to put a little bit of pressure on the foil so that you sort of flatten it and get it in place. And then once you've established that, you switch your position over like this and paint the middle part. Once the middle shaft is done, then you put your hand underneath and you paint the ends. Now we need to fold the foil up, and you want to fold the foil so that the 2 edges meet each other. Smooth it out, not too firmly. You want the color to be able to breathe. Score the edges like this and fold. Score the edge and fold. For the first one I usually fold this to avoid the foil going in the client's face. Leave a space in between, equal to the space you've just done. And clip it out of the way. And take a slice Very fine, you should be able to see through it. And pick up the edge, and then simply bounce along the surface, picking up small pieces as you go. Take just what's on the top of the comb and separate it from what's on the bottom. Top first. Get the foil in place. Switch position to the middle. And the ends. Meet the edge, smooth it, score it, fold it. Push it out of the way. Always take a space in between, otherwise you'll get the effect of a faux color rather than a highlight. Use the same clip as before so that you don't load the foils and make them heavy. The size of the subsections and the consistency of them is really important because you want all of your highlights to be equally distributed. If any that goes over the edge, you can just kind of turn it around and tuck it in. Spacing in between the foils is as important as those that you're putting in, because you want there to be as much of the natural color as there is of the hair that you're highlighting. Now this bobbing technique that I'm doing is particularly effective because it allows for you to take really consistent pieces, the sizes of the pieces, as well as the spacing in between. And when you become adept at it, it'll really increase your speed as well. Okay, we're going to go just beyond the crown, because if we stopped here, then the color also would stop here. We'd have only color at the front. We want the color to filtrate through to the back, so we're going to do a few more. Okay, now I'm going to move to the side panel. And I'm not going to do the entire thing, but there is one thing I want to show you on the side, because it really is just more of the same. Here, when you're about to approach the side, take a sort of a small skinny little subsection, not quite as big as what you normally would do for foiling, about half of what you would normally have. Because you want to create a bit of a buffer zone between the color here and the color here. You don't want the color on top of each other, so I'm just going to take that out, clip it out of the way. The other thing I wanted to mention is as you progress down, you'll notice near the bottom that you'll get to a point where you have to make a decision between putting one in at the bottom or not. I always recommend that students put one in there, because try to gauge it so that you can. Because if you don't have any color, any foils coming up from here with a weaved pattern, when the person puts her hair up or his hair up, there will be no highlights there, no color there. So do your best to gauge it so that you're, even if you have to make the section a little bigger or a little smaller, always end up with one at the very bottom. Okay, and that's all for today. Good luck.